This podcast contains strong language and adult situations. If that's not your thing, you've been warned.
Welcome back, fuckers, to the Fuck My Work Life podcast.
Hey, everybody. I'm Kay.
And I'm Jay.
And this is the podcast where we read your workplace stories to you. And sometimes we have special guests on.
Like this time.
Like today. We've got Zack with us. Hi, Zack.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been a lifelong dream.
I know. I mean,
for at least the past 3 months, maybe.
Not the first time we've heard that.
We are very desirable.
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Come on, you're living the dream. You are allowing people to get the points out about their workplace or their past work, and they have people listening, because a lot of these people have it bottled up and they're like, I just want to get it out. Oh, and now there's a podcast for this. Well, thank you.
I know. It was such an epiphany when we talked about starting this podcast. We were drunk. Naturally. Okay, I was drunk.
I was probably a little tipsy. But actually, like it came about when I tend to have arguments with people in my head that I wish I had in real life. And I was having such an argument in my head with one of my supervisors. And it was like, no, it'd be really cool to just have a forum for people to just kind of get this shit off their chest in an anonymous fashion. Some of it has ended up not really being anonymous, and it's, up to the person telling the story, but it does seem very cathartic for a lot of people.
A lot of venting.
Yes.
A lot of work. You pent it up and you just need to vent. And this is a great outlet, whether they write in or they're lucky enough to join you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you think it's a great outlet. Before we go 20 minutes into our podcast, why don't you tell us about the podcast that you guest on or what you do?
What do I do? All right. Well, for a profession, I program and talk in radio, and I've been doing that since high school. So a couple decades. I enjoy it. I love it. I don't know what I would do if I got a real job. So my daily activity is talking and listening to music. It's really rough. For the podcasts, I have been guesting with, the main one is the Neatcast with Jeremy, Mike, and Mark. And I've known Jeremy and Mike for a long time. I originally met them. I was a big World of Warcraft player, and I transferred to their realm, and I was just looking for a guild. And Jeremy said, oh, hey, can you heal? Sure, I can heal. And then they got me into the guild, and I played with them for a number of years until one day I was actually heading out to New York. I live in New Hampshire. A bunch of them were out in the New York area, and I was going to be about an hour from them. And I reached out and said, hey, anybody available? And one of them was, and met up with Justin. And that was my first contact of these people that I've been playing online with for like 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And from there, I actually met Jeremy and Mike and all my New York friends. And from there, we've maintained being friends, and they're still tolerating me to this day, to the point that they invite me on their podcast, which is a lot of fun. And Neatcast is just pop culture, news, sports, and Mike loves cryptids. Yeah. So if you like spooky stuff, tune in for that. Another podcast I guest on is Effin' Cultured, where if you need culture in your life, you can get Effin' Cultured with Bobby, Griff, and Rick. And they talk about pop culture. They get to that line. You know how there's always a line?
Oh, yeah.
They're there. And they like to maybe stick their toe over a little bit or jump. It depends on the episode. They also do episodes, which you guys would be great for. It's called Fermented Fruit. Mm-hmm. And you look at Rotten Tomatoes and you pick movies that are rotten by their standards, and you get drunk watching it, and then you try to figure out at the end if it's rotten or if it's fermented.
Oh, wow.
And we did Masters of the Universe. We've done Mortal Kombat Annihilation. They've done a bunch, but those are just the two that I've done. So that's a shit show in a hat. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds fun. So do you watch the movie when you're on the podcast, or do you watch it before you go on the podcast?
we'll get together about 15 minutes ahead of time. We will record the intro, and then we'll part ways. We don't kind of do a group watch. We'll watch on our own.
Okay.
But we'll be communicating. We'll have a group chat started, whether it be through Discord or Messenger, and we'll be shooting comments back and forth throughout the entire thing. And then we get back after that. We'll talk for another half hour, 45 minutes, breaking down the movie, trying to be comprehensive of anything that we say. Sometime there's been at least a couple times that either people can't make it back on for the podcast or they walk away and they don't come back. They just disappear.
You know it's a horrible movie, right?
Or they've just had too much to drink.
Which could be because it's a horrible movie.
Yeah.
We don't know. And the last podcast that I guest on, it's called Podcasters Assemble, which is based off the whole idea of Avengers Assemble. And it's a movie hype series. It started with the MCU leading up to Endgame. And then every season, they typically will pick a upcoming movie and they'll go through the different movies leading up to that. So the first season was the MCU. Then they covered Star Wars. They did James Bond, which is technically still happening.
Yeah,
because we're waiting for it.
Yeah.
They did Godzilla, King Kong. That's where I jumped on with them. Then we did Mortal Kombat, and now we are going to be doing Ghostbusters. And this is open for any podcaster anywhere. That it's podcasters coming together, and it's a very I love the 80s, 90s kind of feel.
Oh, nice.
Where you're inputting different audio from different people. So everyone pre-records it anywhere from like 3 to 15 minutes of breaking down and talking about a movie, what they love, what they hated, whatever it is. And they edit it together.
Oh, wow.
And for Ghostbusters, it'll be the two Prime movies, the game that was based upon the third movie script, the reboot, and then Afterlife when it comes out. And they'll probably do a bonus about the cartoon series. So that's what Podcasters Assemble is all about. And then we are doing a super secret spinoff that's going to be focusing on movies that don't make the cut. So like Star Wars was all the Skywalker saga 1 through 9, but nobody talked about Solo or Rogue One. So we'll be talking about those. Okay. So we kind of get the redheaded stepchildren that aren't included.
Yeah.
So that's what I do with my spare time, is jump from podcast to podcast between those three, and then appearing as a guest wherever I can, whenever people want to tolerate me. So you guys are stuck with me for a little bit. I'm sorry.
We're fine with that.
No, we're good. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty awesome. Sounds like you, and it also sounds like you're pretty fucking busy.
Yeah.
I am busy. Pretty much every week is a podcast, which isn't even a normal me being on just Neatcast. A lot of times it's all right, I'm going to go guest over here, or I'm doing something with Neatcast or F and Cultured. So it's very busy, but I'm having fun. Like everybody, we're doing it because we have a lot of fun, just like you guys doing it every week and talking either amongst yourselves or having guests on.
Yeah. And you get the best part of it because you can just go on and shoot the shit and talk. Yeah. And then you don't have to edit it.
It's all the fun and none of the responsibility.
Exactly.
But I will, because Podcasters Assemble is such a tremendous amount to take on, because you're editing together anywhere from 4 to like 9 people into a single podcast. I'm going to be doing one of those, so it doesn't fall on the one poor guy, Eric, who's been doing it for, I don't know, like 3 seasons now. So we're going to split it up, and we're each going to take a movie to help keep his sanity.
His sanity. Yeah. I get that. That is a lot.
I like the guy, so I'd rather he stick around and not burn out.
I mean, I've watched Kay edit stuff. Man, it's rough.
It takes a little bit of practice. I mean, I do it with my main job through radio, but not to the level of trying to put people together in a long form conversation.
Yeah.
Everything I do editing for is commercials and promos and imaging. It's not like that. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah. It's actually, I mean, when it was just Jay and I in season 1, that was easy. And then we started adding in like more audio tracks with guests. And I was just like, it was definitely a learning curve. I think I got my lesson doing the 100 things we learned from film episode, because it was 3 audio tracks. And that was fun.
Mm-hmm. And you had 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a lot of talking over each other because we were very drunk.
Oh yeah,
And-
we were pretty.
What? Well, also it's kind of.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I was like at least a 6-pack deep before we even started recording.
Yeah.
My problem is it's tough to get to a 6-pack deep because all of my craft beer that I like drinking is usually so intense and heavy that after 3, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
If I go one, I'm running out of room because they all come in massive freaking cans now. But 2, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
I can't keep drinking that much. It hurts.
Those are thick too. They're
Yeah.
usually like thick beers. Like this is a lot to take. He
Mhm.
normally drinks Coors, which they're light. They're hardly anything. So he can get through 6 real quick.
Yeah, I've put worse things in my mouth than Coors, so that's fine.
Well, look, when we're recording like this, it takes me about 20 minutes, 30 minutes to go through 4 beers, 5 beers. So if we record for an hour and a half, I'm looking at, 12-pack, maybe a little more, and that's no good.
Nope. You need a light beer for that. I mean,
If I was doing like craft beers, I would be
on the floor.
Yeah, I would have nothing to offer but slurs.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I should have grabbed a light beer. I'm drinking a double IPA at the moment. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but it's delicious. But I don't know why I grabbed this one just because it's hot as balls right now in New England.
Well,
it's hot here. So
while we're talking about it, we should probably just go into we drink because we work.
that's right.
It's true.
Because that's pretty much why most adults drink.
Yeah, well, I'm very jealous of Zach because it sounds like you're a rare unicorn and you actually love your job.
I do. I mean, every job has its moments, and I'll talk about some of the things in my past that I've done or I've witnessed. Because no matter how perfect your job is or how much you love it, there always is something that'll get to you. And everything I talk about, again, it's a small percentage of what I experience, but it also sticks out that much more because it happens so rarely. That when it does happen, you go, what, why? It actually stops the gears because you're running so smoothly.
Yeah. So you're lucky that you, for the most part, enjoy your job, but you do have those days where, it might be a little bit more stressful than others.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you drinking today to combat those issues?
So for me, 2 of my favorite breweries up here in New Hampshire, there's one called Kettlehead in Tilton, New Hampshire. They're a local brewery, which we've worked with. Actually, behind me, you can actually see this nice big.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
That's actually what the can looked like. Our station made that with them for a couple of years. That was my dream.
Nice.
Rock out with your hops out.
Rocking out with your hops out. And it was a double IPA and it was delicious. So Kettlehead teamed up with Trillium Brewing, which is based out of the Boston area. And Trillium is very delicious. They have had some great beer, which they are very tough to get. Just like Treehouse, if you've heard of them down in the Massachusetts area, a lot of people line up for hours to get their beer.
Oh, wow.
So Kettlehead and Trillium did a collab, and it's called Side Trail. It's a double IPA, and it is 8.3% double, and it's delicious. I love it. Came out this summer, and this is my last one. So I figured I will break it out for F my work life.
Aw, thank
That's
you.
right. You can say fuck.
Yeah.
It's weird because
you're
I
not
will
allowed to.
I will sometimes self-edit myself because I don't know my job and FCC, but then other times I won't. I have no control over it. It just happens.
Yeah.
We have no filter or edit.
Nope.
Then you're perfect.
Do not plan on getting one anytime soon.
So what are you drinking, Jay? It's not Coors today, which I'm excited about.
Mhm. I went to the store and I got a Ballast Point Aloha Sculpin Hazy. So it is an IPA. Ballast Point is
Local.
they're local, yeah, but I think they also I think they branched out quite a bit.
They started local.
I think a lot of the craft brewing companies out here in San Diego have branched out quite a bit because there was a while there where it might even still be. San Diego was like the craft brewing mecca. So it's an Aloha Sculpin Hazy IPA.
And you said it smells fruity. It smells like pineapple guava or like pineapple orange.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't want to taste it because I don't like IPAs, but
I've had their regular Sculpin, and I think I got to go through Untapped. I liked it. That was a decent one. And I think I have one of their Victory at Sea still down in my basement, which was, from what I remember, a delicious porter.
So they're out there too.
They do get out here. We luckily in New Hampshire, the breweries have gotten better, but they are better also at bringing in craft beer. And we've got my town is a college town, so they actually do have craft beer coming in. And doesn't matter what store I go to, I can find stuff that's far away.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah. They actually, like, the one IPA I could stomach was from Ballast Point. I'm not even sure they make it anymore. The habanero.
Yeah, no.
Sculpin. It was very spicy, but it was good because the spiciness cut out like some of that bitterness, which is what I'm not a huge fan of. But it was good. I haven't seen it in a long time though.
Have you ever tried the New England style IPAs?
I have not.
No.
If you ever find a New England style IPA, and it doesn't have to be from New England, it's just the style that they do, how they brew it, they tend to be less potent hoppy and a little bit more juicy. And that's what I have found. Sometimes I enjoy getting punched in the mouth by an IPA. Sometimes I like a little bit of dank juiciness.
Yeah.
It depends, but a New England style tends to be a little bit juicier. That might be some IPAs that you would enjoy.
I'm willing to try it.
And if you don't, you pass it to Jay.
That's right. He will drink anything.
I don't give a shit at all. Like, I don't go for IPAs right away, but if I'm somewhere and like I need a fucking beer and all they have is IPAs, bring it.
Bring it on.
And I'm also going to follow that up because behind my IPA, I have a Coors Light,
a palate cleanser.
Piss water.
Piss water, as Mark said.
As the 100 Things from Film would say. And then behind that, I also have another. You're
just lining them up.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's
Go ahead. Go ahead, babe. I'm sorry.
I am drinking. This one is from Slow Brew, which is out of San Luis Obispo, which I think you were not far from visiting recently, right?
I was. I'll tell the story after that, but you let's hear about your beer.
My beer. So Slow Brew out of San Luis Obispo. This is one of my favorite beers. It's their pink lemonade lager. It's very pretty. It actually is kind of pink, but this is kind of their seasonal summer beer. And it's only out, of course, in the summer. So I try to stock up when I can find it and make it last as long as possible until it comes out again the next summer. But it's very good. It's very light. I like light lagers, wheat beers. That's kind of my jam.
Oh, especially during the summer. I mean, I love that during the summer. This is actually my favorite time because now I'm seeing all my fall beer, and I love falls. I llove porters and browns, Oktoberfest, stouts. I mean, I love if I could drink them during the summer and not die, I would.
Yeah.
but they're sometimes are a little heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we actually were out just north of St. Louis Obispo in Cambria. We were out there for a friend's wedding. My wife had a friend that she's known since high school, and we got an invite out. And I had never been to California, so we made it a little mini vacation. St. Louis Obispo, beautiful place, lovely, great shopping, great walking, great breweries as well. A lot of great beer. I loved Barrel House. That was a lot of fun being down there.
Yeah,
it sounds familiar,
I feel like we've been there.
I can't pin it.
I thought it was funny when you guys were talking about it, I believe on Neatcast, and you were like, what do you expect the weather to be like this time you're there? And I was like, cloudy and chilly. And there's exactly that Central Coast.
Yeah.
You get a late summer there. Like the summer, they call it Indian summer. It doesn't start until like late September, October, but the summers are overcast and chilly.
Yep.
It was amazing how a 45-minute drive would make the difference of Cambria, 60 and cloudy. St. Louis was 75 and sunny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
a difference.
Nuts.
Yeah. It's very different here because there are days where we wake up in the morning and it's 60 degrees outside, which is cold.
It's cold to us.
That's cold for here.
It's a heat wave for us, depending on the time of year.
Well, during the summer, it's like 60 degrees outside. You wake up in the morning and then you drive inland, not even 10 minutes. And it's fucking 80.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's 80 degrees and it's
this little microclimate everywhere.
It's very.
It is weird here. I'd prefer like actual real seasons other states have, but here we are.
Good old sunny Southern California most of the time.
Most of the time, unless you live on the coast, and then it's usually marine layer.
I'll say you don't have to shovel or snow blow your driveways.
Nope.
So that you don't have to do.
Don't have to do that.
We have that.
Yeah.
We get that.
Chipping ice off the windshield. And,
Yeah. Well, we have the remote starters. So that helps. You stand inside, you click the button and off it comes. And then you give it 5 minutes and go out and most of it is melted. So you can, have a much easier go at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lived in Colorado for 2 years and we did not have remote start cars at that point. Luckily, it was fairly mild the couple winters I was there, but it was a shock being a Southern California girl to wake up in the morning and have your car completely covered in snow. And like, how do I get to my car?
Oh my God, this is fucking stupid.
I hate this.
How do I do?
Yes.
What? Anything. Somebody. No manual. Tell me.
It was beautiful though. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And the falls. Oh God. I miss a real
Leaves
fall.
change. Yeah, we get leaf peepers up here. That'll be starting in the next, month and a half.
That's my favorite. I want to go to the East Coast for a real fall at some point.
Now let us know. I mean, you're going to be heading over to Scotland. I mean, Chat Smash in the UK. I mean, East Coast, you got us. We're all over the place. You have friends everywhere. You're going to have the best vacation.
Yeah, we got to do a tour just of everywhere. Go to I can never remember if it's North or South Carolina where Drunk Theory is. It's one of the Carolinas. Just go everywhere and visit everyone. That's my dream job.
It's a good plan.
We got to make money during this podcast so we can just travel everywhere and have fun.
I think that's what everyone says when they start a podcast. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's just fun to do, no matter the outcome.
Yeah.
As long as you're enjoying it, and and still, honestly, you have the freedom to do what you want.
Yeah.
Once you get a sponsor, you may not be able to say certain things depending on the sponsor.
Oh, fuck that shit. Nope.
All right. Well, Disney is not signing up. Clearly,
well, Disney can suck it anyway.
Yeah. I don't think I'd go for that. Even if they told me like, "Hey, we'll give you $2 million a year for your podcast," I'd be like, "Can I say cunt and cum fart? No, fuck you."
I don't think Disney would be looking for a podcast called Fuck My Work Life to sponsor.
Lying. If they said $2 million a year for a podcast, I'd be like, what do you want me to talk in a Mickey Mouse voice?
Yeah. Where do I sign? That was good. I like that.
Gee, Pluto.
A man of many talents.
I would be down.
It would be tough to say no.
Yeah, at this point in my life, can I quit my job?
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another thing. If Disney came to us, if Disney came to us and said $2 million a year for your podcast, and I said fuck you, I also I'd be walking around for a couple weeks with one of her shoes up my ass.
Yeah.
And,
you said no to what?
Yep. I did it for the podcast, I swear.
The sanctity of the podcast. I don't know. We're having fun.
Yeah.
It's fine.
All right. I'm getting drunk. So
let's get into some workplace stories. I know you've got some, Zach, right?
I do. I have some. They're all short before I guess we get into all of your submissions. So I used to work at a small theme park up here in New Hampshire. And so you have a lot of tourists that would come into said theme park. I was one of the, I don't know if entertainers is the right word, tour guide, I guess would be more apt. And most tourists and guests that you would get are great people. Everything that I talk about, whether my current job or my past jobs, majority is great people. But then you get the some that they're not that great. And sometimes it's just little annoying things. Like when they ask what time the 11:30 train ride is. What time is the 12 o'clock bear show? Do these bumper boats have brakes? Things like that. It builds on you over a couple seasons, and you start to develop a twitch, and you don't realize it because you can't be this serious. You just asked me what time the thing. 2 p.m. That's what time the 12 o'clock train ride is. What?
Yeah.
Come on.
The train ride goes on West Coast time, so you missed it 3 hours ago.
Even though we're here on the East Coast.
That's right.
Moron. I have, working in a theme park, I learned that the bane of everyone's existence in a theme park is popcorn. It's everywhere.
Oh, I bet.
And kids can't hold on to it. You see a child with popcorn, you go, no, please don't. Parents, hold on.
Want to kick them?
Please hold on. I never got to that point, but I mean, the parents, hold, please. And the parents, it's like, I don't know if it's lack of respect or what it is, but certain parents just didn't care what their kids were doing. They could run around with disregards of rules, jumping chains and ropes and doing whatever, or dumping food and water. And you know who's cleaning that up? It's us. And we're not necessarily paid to go do that.
Yeah.
But we need to do it because it's a mess. And I don't want people walking through 4 feet of soda as you're trying to get onto a bumper boat.
Yeah.
It's, oh God. So stuff like that at the theme park was annoying. People that wouldn't listen to you was the biggest problem. But most people were fine. They were great. They were appreciative. They were friendly. I think the biggest thing that I was consistently accused of ruining people's lives, like flat out ruining lives. There are trained bears at this attraction,
like real bears.
Yeah, black bears.
Okay.
They're raised in captivity, and they are fed ice cream and dog food, and they are very well cared for. Live way past the age of a normal black bear out in the wild.
I'm sorry, I have to stop you. Are they really fed ice cream?
Yeah, it's a treat. They're fed ice cream. Do you want to dress up as a bear? I can bring you there.
Hey, man.
Can you dribble a basketball?
Kinda.
So these bears, they have the different shows, on and off throughout the day. At the end of the day, you're done with your train rides. You're done with your shows. Everything's winding down. Part of my job was to stand at the door and let people back in at the end of the day if they had a stamp. And if they didn't, you can't come back in. We're closing in a half hour. You could see the bears from outside. If they decide to climb the tree poles that they had, the bears could climb up, and they had platforms up there, and they can climb up and down because they're black bears. It's not they're big, but they're not nearly as big as like a brown or a Kodiak or anything like that. They're pushing like the black bears are like usually around like 250, maybe 300. Those are getting big. People would always ask what time
is them.
People would ask what time the bears climb the poles. I don't know. I don't know their schedule.
Bears.
Yeah,
they do.
They don't really have a schedule.
But every day at the end of the day, if I was standing at the main entrance, people would be coming in, and they would just tell me like, I'm just going in to see the bears. Can I see your hand stamp? No, I'm just going in to see the bears. Well, no, I'm sorry, I can't let you just go in to see the bears. I don't know where you're going to go after that. We're closing down. Every day, a father or mother told me how horrible I was because I ruined their day, that they just drove from Connecticut or Maine or South Carolina or wherever just to see the bears. And I was the a-hole that was stopping and ruining their children's dream of seeing the bears.
You asshole.
I know. And usually the kids didn't really care.
Right.
But every once in a while there was and I would love for it's neat. I would love for the people to go see the bears, but all these people all day have paid to come in to the park. They've been doing everything. I can't just let you come in because 1, you didn't pay, and 2, I'm kind of responsible if I let you in. I remember a couple times the worst one that really ticked me off was when a child actually was upset that they couldn't go inside. Most people actually were understanding. And they say, okay, I get it. But every once in a while, I would get a father or a mother, typically a father, though. I don't know, because guys are assholes. I know I'm one. And the kid would start crying. And they would say, sorry, we can't go in. The mean man won't let us. He won't let us go in to see the bears that you wanted to go see. I'm just, and they're looking right at me, and I'm going,
nope,
yeah,
I sure won't.
I'm still not letting you in. I guess I'm that asshole.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for the kids, but at the same time, I'm going, go fuck yourself. Come on. It's not my fault.
Yeah, exactly.
The kids were innocent. They didn't do anything. They were just excited.
Yeah. A lot of times it's the parents.
The parents. Yeah. Very little were kids ever.
It's always the parents.
Ever the issue. It's like anything, the self-entitlement. And that's like the grounds for everything with work, no matter if it's an employee or a customer or a client or whatever. It almost always comes down to self-entitlement. And that's what a lot of it was. And that I think was the worst part. It was never really anything with the job. I actually liked my job. I had a lot of fun entertaining, and just being a tour guide. But certain people, certain guests were like, Jesus, you just went way overboard on that. And I'm sorry for ruining your life and your child's life. I hope I'm not going to pay for their therapy, but good luck. Sorry.
So these people, they didn't want to actually pay to get in. They just thought you would just come, you would just let them in to see the bears.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like your average day was like, busy season was like 9 to 6 or 10 to 5. Take your pick. And most of them, honestly, what most of the scenarios were, they were in the area and they were already doing something that day, or they went to another attraction, they went to another park, they went and did something. And you see the bears as you drive by, you see the gift shop, you see all of this. And so you go, oh, we're going to stop in. Let's go see if we can see them. The main door is half open because you have people. That's your only exit right now is through the main entrance. So, and even there's a sign outside that says, sorry, we're closed for today, but people will just walk right by. They will go do something else, and then they'll park, and then they'll say, all right, let's go in and see the bears. And they'd use the excuse of, oh, well, we just came to do this one thing and you're ruining it for us.
Oh,
so I'm sorry. If they did, I'll tell you, if they did come in while the I don't know what they were, Ticketmaster, I think they were called, a guy or girl that's selling the tickets. If you got in after a certain time, they'll sell it to you. They'll sell you a ticket for half price, and then you come back the next day for free. So as long as you showed up while the ticket booth was still open, you pay half the price for everybody, and you get a whole next day so whatever you didn't see the train ride, you didn't get this or that, come back tomorrow. Deal for you. Come on back. We'd love to have you. But it was the people that would come in the last like half hour, 20 minutes that would be, nope, this is what I'm doing. No, you can't. You can't.
No, you're not.
Yeah, no.
There are rules, and I'm sorry. I know it may not be what you're used to, but that's how it is.
Come on, Zach. The rules don't apply to everyone.
Yeah. I know.
Come on.
I remember once a girl was there with her family, and they asked where the closest Starbucks was. And I said, unfortunately, we don't have Starbucks, but we do have a Dunkin's down the road. And she looked at me dead straight and said, how do you live?
Oh my God. Like, how do you live without Starbucks?
I mean, and I honestly, I didn't have Starbucks until probably college. Yeah. Like where I grew up in a small town. My high school was 4 towns together with 47 kids in my graduating class.
Oh, wow.
Tiny.
Damn.
I am from small town, New Hampshire. But yeah, some people that would come in, how do you live? What is there to do? Lots to do.
Yeah.
Just not what you're expecting.
I have an imagination. I go play outside and, make my own fun. And
my favorite toy growing up was a stick.
Yeah, that's right.
It's what we had. Technology? What's that?
Yeah, we didn't have
woods and mud.
Like we had Nintendo growing up, but we didn't have iPads and phones. We went outside when we got home from school and did our homework, and we played in the dirt.
Yeah.
And we came home when the streetlights came on.
that was the same exact thing. I had an NES, and that was it, for entertainment, but everything else was outside.
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice when I was growing up. It was, hey, you awake? Eat this, get the fuck out, and don't come back until it's dark.
It's good weather.
Yeah.
Why are you
Like,
inside?
Get out.
Oh, you don't want to go play? I've got a lawn that needs mowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, no, I'm gonna go.
We didn't even get that choice. Like, you don't want to go play, you got to mow the lawn. It's you can't go play until you mow the lawn. And once you mow the lawn, get the fuck out of my house, and you don't come back until the street lights are on.
If I was lucky, I had the choice. If I was lucky, I did. I wasn't always lucky. That was actually really my first main job. I had actually done hiking before that and bringing flatlanders into the woods and bringing them back out alive. And that was fun for a while. But people that were unprepared were a big thing. But I only did that for one summer. My next job after college was when I first got into radio. And I love it. I love my job. Most everyone I deal with is great. Very little complaints about employees I've ever worked with. Listeners, by the most part, are great people. But every once in a while, you get some entitled bastards that they want some more. You know, you give them a pair of tickets and they go, well, what about my other? I got like 3 kids, and you gave me 2 ski tickets. I just saved you $275. That's what I just did. I'm sorry about your other 2 kids.
Yeah, but that's not enough, man.
I know it's not enough. I know it's not.
You need to accommodate my whole family.
Yeah, but I called your radio station.
And even though I told you that you get a pair, you wanted more. And that is on the rare occasion that it does happen. But it has. I'm actually more likely to get someone to give me crap at a live event than I am when they come in to get a prize. When you're out at a live event, everyone loves free swag. Speaking of which, thank you for these. These are awesome.
Oh, yeah, you got
nice.
Your very own Fuck
That's
My Work
awesome.
Life coaster and stickers. So thank you very much. That's awesome, guys. Everyone loves free swag. I love my free swag.
Yeah.
So when you're out doing an event, you obviously have free swag. Swag stands for shit we all get.
Yep.
And everybody wants it.
Yep.
Everybody wants the t-shirt. Everyone wants the big ticket item, whatever it is. And if you have a spinning wheel or a Price is Right, like puck drop, whatever, Plinko, you know, everyone has like a different type of game.
Yeah.
And there's a chance to it. That's part of the deal. And when you don't win the tickets, or you don't win the t-shirt, or you don't win the big item, don't ask if you can trade your fucking notepad. No. Your notepad is not worth the tickets to Guns N' Roses. I'm sorry. There is a difference. But some people want that. Some people need that. I remember once we were working with a local venue. We were presenting all the shows that night, and I forget exactly who it was. Blues Travelers, Collective Soul, Live, and I forget who else. And we had backstage passes, meet and greet, side stage passes for each of the different bands. And we had a show us your hawk, because the hawk is our mascot for the station. And one of the phrases is rock out with your hawk out. Haha, clever. People like that. And if you don't say it enough, they get angry. So it was, hey, show us your hawk. And so people made banners, because we wanted people to have banners all over the pavilion, holding them up with the frequency and the station and this and that. All right, bring these to the venue, and we will be judging and handing these out to great creative ones. And there were some amazing posters and signs that people made. And we were handing these things out, and we actually had a fair amount of them. So a lot of people were getting these. One guy came over and said, "Oh, hey, you're handing out meet and greets. Can I have one?" Well, no, we're doing a contest, and you need to, we promoted it for weeks, saying that if you're coming to the contest, whether you win tickets or you buy tickets, you got to make this thing, and then if we like it, we'll give you a pass. And honestly, practically everyone that made one got a pass. All right. So this guy proceeds to then give me some crap because he didn't know about it. I'm sorry you weren't listening, that we talked about it for 2 or 3 weeks straight. So he then asks, "Oh, can I create it now?" Yeah,
sure.
Like the show's starting in, I don't know, a half hour. Yeah, sure, whatever. So he takes off. He comes back like, I don't know, 15 minutes later, literally with a piece of paper towel and
Nice.
has written the station on it, and the Hawk Rocks or whatever. He's like, I made it.
Oh my God.
And I had a part-timer with me, and she looks over at me. She's like, don't do it. Don't. And I'm looking at him going, no, I can't. No, the people put like time and energy into this, and you took a marker and wrote it on paper towel.
Went into
and
the
then
bathroom.
I don't
in the
know
bathroom.
who sold you whatever you smoked before you came in here, but that's not how this works.
That's not how any of this works. So then he gets all pissed off and chucks it at me and runs off like bitching and moaning. I'm sorry that I'm not fulfilling your desire. There's certain rules and requirements for a contest. I'm sorry. It doesn't align with what you want. I apologize-ish.
Yeah. I'm apologizing because people are listening nearby. But really,
and
fuck you.
You have to always be the professional.
Yeah.
Always try to be the hero. That's the biggest thing. Always try to be the hero. But sometimes you can't, because people are they're so entitled that they think that they deserve this. And I have little things like that have gone on. I will say, and I just actually told Luke about this, and maybe he'll use it on something more annoying in the future. But there is someone following me, guys. They've been following me for years, and I don't know who it is.
What?
I've worked for 3 separate companies in radio.
Shit, he knows.
I don't know who it is, but this really grinds my fucking gears, because there's somebody in my office, wherever I work, they don't let the microwave finish counting down.
Oh.
And they don't clear it. And I'm not that tall, but I'm around 6'1". I stand well above the microwave where I can't actually see the time. So I walk into the microwave and I open up the door and I put my hot pocket or whatever the hell I'm putting in there to roast up and make it nuclear warm for my face. And then I close the door and then I go to hit the buttons, and you know what doesn't happen? I don't get to set my time.
Yep.
Because there's still 5 damn seconds left on the microwave, and it wastes at least 3 seconds of my life figuring out that there's still 5 seconds left. That's 3 seconds I never get back. And this has been going on for my entire radio career. Someone has been doing this to me, and I don't know who it is. It is. And I've worked with many different people. I don't work with anybody anymore from previous companies. Someone's doing it. Different buildings.
What if you have a split personality and you're doing it to yourself?
Oh shit.
I am a Gemini, so it wouldn't surprise me. It could actually be me.
What's the name of that movie?
Fight Club. I could be Fight Clubbing.
The
Identity.
one that's recently.
I don't know.
Is it Split?
I have no idea.
Split did have the multiple personality from.
But he had like 20.
M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah,
yeah, he had like 20, and he kept the girls in down in the cave. And
I have no idea what this
I
movie
know.
is.
I let you go to sleep before I watched it.
Yeah, it's from the M. Night Shyamalan. It's a sequel to Unbreakable.
I actually I also had a little thing on Luke's podcast where I talked about people who microwave fish.
Yes,
in the office.
Mm-hmm. I remember that episode.
That happens almost daily where we work.
Daily? Oh,
yes.
God.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
I've gotten to the point, I'm old enough now where all of my fucks are gone, and I will walk through that break room being like, someone microwaved fish again. That smells disgusting.
No, the worst part is it's not like they microwaved. I'm from Louisiana. Leave me alone. It's not like they microwaved like a breaded, like Long John Silver's fish. It's like the shit you buy from the freezer section of the grocery store. No, they bring in
raw fish.
Like raw fish, and this is how they cook it. They put it in a bed of rice, and they put saran wrap over the top with a little bit of water in there, and they put it in for like 2 minutes, and that's how they cook their fish. It's like they steam their fish in the microwave at work.
Oh God.
It's the grossest.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can do.
And it goes
There's
everywhere.
Nothing you can do.
That smell travels into
yeah.
every nook and cranny.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
Like we work in an office where the break room is, you have to leave the work floor to go into the break room, and there's pretty big doors. And even with those doors closed, that shit permeates through the floor and the walls.
Anyway, yes, don't microwave fish in a public area.
Let's take a moment to hear from another great indie podcast.
Hey there, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Agnes.
And together, we are Sass and Sips, a watch-rewatch podcast.
We want to personally invite you to check out our podcast, where we'll be discussing TV shows from two perspectives.
One who has seen the show before.
And one who's not so sure. While we drink a lot. I mean, like a lot.
Every season, we will focus on a new show. And for our first season, we have chosen the iconic show Lost.
We hope that you will come over and check us out.
We can be found on your favorite podcast platform or at sassandsips.com. If you're down for drinks, friends, and television, then make sure you listen and subscribe.
Because we're down for all of it.
Yes. So listen with your bestie, open your favorite bottle, and sip and sass with Sass and Sips.
And we're back.
Make sure you go give that podcast a listen. All right, what do you got for us, Jay?
All right, I got a story from Amanda and Jesse from the See You Next Tuesday podcast. And before we get into this podcast,
I love the name of it.
Before we get into this story, I want you to understand how this is spelled. CEEU.
Like the letter U.
Next Tuesday. So take the first letter from every word. Cunt is what it spells.
Well, I don't love that word, but I love the fact that over here it is such a damning word that if you say that, it's like, but then it's like any of the guys over the pond, you hop across the pond, it's a common word.
Oh yeah.
Use.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, over there, it can almost be used as like a friendly word. Like, oh, you fucking cunt. You know?
But we say different words over here and they go, what?
Oh yeah. You say that word over here and you know, them's fighting words.
Yeah. Well, fanny has a completely different meaning over here too.
All right, let's get into the story.
Okay.
We are not going to tell which stories are Amanda and which stories are Jesse, but we both have some. So enjoy.
We will.
Okay.
And the first one is The Stolen Dog. I have a coworker that we swear stole her dog. Her story is that she saw this dog with a collar walking around the neighborhood, and she tried to find the owner by knocking on doors, but couldn't. Then she took it to the vet to see if it was microchipped, and he was. So the vet tried to get in touch with the owners, but before the owners could be located, she had the dog neutered, because that's what you do.
Well,
when you take a dog to the vet to see if someone else owns it, you cut its fucking balls off. That's what you do.
Would the vet actually do that though? They're like,
I think that there is a little bit of responsibility on the vet for that, because it's one thing if you find a stray.
Yeah,
because that's a big thing here is you find a stray, let's spay or neuter them. But if you know that there is an owner, the vet should not legally be doing that without consulting the owner.
Well,
right.
Let's check its microchip. Oh, it does have a microchip. It looks like Mr. and Mrs. Smith own this dog. Let's go ahead and cut its balls off. Are you going to pay for it? You are? We're good.
I think usually there's a time limit, which it doesn't say in the story. Like if they contact the owners, there's a certain time limit before you can, I guess, I don't know, release ownership of the dog. But it seems like the way it's written, it sounds like it happened really fast. Yep, they're microchipped. We left a message and then we neutered it.
Yeah. So we'll keep going. The owners finally called the vet back, and she claims that they came to her house to say she could keep the dog because they couldn't take care of him anymore.
Oh,
This could just be me, but if I didn't want a dog anymore, I would just ignore the calls.
yeah.
Very true. Also, she has the dog on anti-anxiety medication. The dog is not anxious. He just wants to go the fuck home.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe they found this dog in the neighborhood that they really wanted and just kind of
They were like,
yeah. I'm guessing they didn't take it to the vet to get microchipped. They just took the dog and did their own fucking thing with it.
who knows? This could have been a dog that was like purebred. Maybe it was being
Maybe they were hoping for a reward from the owners.
Well, yeah, or it was purebred and the dog
Hoping to
was
breed it.
used for breeding, and
Yeah.
they didn't want to let the dog go, so they neutered it before the owners could be let known. And then once the owners were let known, like, oh, that dog's been neutered.
That's actually what happened with one of my mom's dogs that she has. It was a breeding dog that got loose.
Yeah.
And then, whoever found it took it to the vet. They waited the appropriate amount of time and they spayed her. And then when the owners finally went to the shelter and found out she was spayed, they're like, we don't want her anymore because she's no good to us. Poor puppy.
That's unfortunate. I mean, I haven't had a dog since I was a child. And we're not in a place that we can because it wouldn't get the attention that it should get. And we're not going to bring a dog into that environment. When we get to a point that we can give the dog truly the attention that it should get, we will get a dog. We've had cats because they're far more independent and they're able to take care of themselves. And, that's perfectly fine, but even if I was only using the animal for, I think, breeding purposes, I would still have an attachment to it.
Yeah.
There's no way I could avoid that.
I don't think I could ever. I don't think I could ever be that person who just has an animal as a breeding.
There's no way.
It's just not in my genes.
It's not how I'm wired.
I couldn't. Like if I have an animal, the animal is my child.
Yeah, they're definitely part of the family.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Even the people, God bless them, the people that can foster animals and foster them and adopt them out and foster them and adopt them out. God love them for doing that. I could not do it. I would have 400 animals because I'd be like,
you would have everything you bring home. I swear, I'm just fostering this one as you put it in a cupboard. This is your home.
Every person who comes to try to adopt the animal, you're like, your toes look weird. You're not getting my fucking cat.
Your eyes a little lazy. What are you talking about? No,
I don't know. Why you got so many freckles? You ain't going home with my cat.
Yeah, freckles are kisses from Angel, and you were raped. I don't trust you. Too many freckles.
Too many freckles.
You fucking tramp.
All right, let's switch gears.
Another story.
This one's called I Worked with Someone Who is in Prison Now.
Okay.
Okay.
This is actually our first episode of our podcast. But back in the day, I waited tables at the Black Eyed Pea. This girl I worked with is now in prison because her children were found at the bottom of a cliff and no one could find her.
Holy shit.
They found her in another city and she was sentenced to 60 years.
Oh my God. I need to listen to this episode because I need more details.
Exactly.
Wow.
And this podcast is called
See You Next Tuesday.
Yes, See You Next Tuesday. Oh yeah, it's right at the top.
Yeah. Wow.
And C is CEE and U is just the letter U.
Yeah.
For the listeners.
We went over that at the beginning.
I knew that.
I wasn't paying attention.
I'm just reiterating,
Yeah. So that's shit. How many people can say that they have worked with someone
who's basically in prison for murder?
of their
Of
children.
their children.
I have technically
Oh,
worked with somebody that did kill someone. I'm not going to go into details, but I technically did.
That's frightening.
Yep, didn't find out till later, but yes,
Oh,
I
God.
used to work with someone that did kill somebody.
I went to high school with a few people who killed people.
That I do. Yes, that I have. That has happened. That's weird. Years later, you go, I went to high school with that fella or girl, but
I don't think I've known anyone who has committed murder that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Fun.
this is a great episode. I'm so glad you're on this one.
That's very uplifting.
Yeah, we have our ups and downs.
This is still more uplifting than normally on Neatcast when we're just beating the tar out of Mike for no reason.
Poor Mike.
Yeah, I mean, come
Poor
on.
Mike. I love Mike. He's so good. He takes everything. He's the best little boy. Mike, when you listen to this,
He
just know
does.
you're the best little boy.
He
You
does.
are.
He's a good sport.
Because I've heard the shit you guys have given him, and I'm just like,
We are the worst.
how is he not like thrown his papers up in the air and been like, I'm fucking out?
He just laughs his way through it. It's great.
It's only a matter of time. He's making a list, and I think at the end of every episode, I do just enough that he crosses my name off.
It's like the guy
I'm
in Billy
convinced.
Madison.
Yes.
Just-
Except it's on a week-by-week basis, so I have to make sure by the end I do something good enough to get my name crossed off.
Bring him a Snickers bar. Here you
Yeah.
go, Mike.
Here you go, buddy. Here's another Mothman hat. Right?
We're cool, right?
We're cool. Okay.
So this last story is, I've read these already. This last story is called I Said Small or Large.
Oh.
I waited tables at a Mexican restaurant, and these big parties would come in and do this cute thing where they would sit the kids at one table and the adults at another. This little crotch, wait for it. This little crotch goblin
That's a word.
ordered a queso.
That's a word.
I tried to ask the parents if it was okay. They were chilling with their Ritas, not giving a shit. So I was like, okay, I'll get the little asshole a queso. A bigger tab means a bigger tit. So I asked the kid, small or large? This little fucker says medium. Oh, hell no. So through clenched teeth, think like when you were little and in the store and your mom was pissed and trying to make a scene
Not trying to
and
make
not
a scene.
trying to make a scene.
Oh, they just that level.
Yep.
I said small or large. He behaved the rest of the meal. And that's the end of the story.
She put the fear of God in that
Oh,
one.
fuck yeah. That's my favorite story because I'm sorry, little kids are the worst, especially when like they start thinking on their own and having their own feelings.
Well,
Well.
I'm going to say a lot of it has to do with the parents. If the parents are just go over there and do whatever you want, we're going to get drunk.
Yeah, but nowadays the parents don't have a fucking choice.
They just have to get drunk.
If your kid wants to tear shit up, what are you going to do? Like, you can't beat them like when I was a kid. You can't fucking beat them. Like,
it is frowned upon.
no,
Yes.
Johnny.
Yes.
No, don't pull that sconce off the wall. It looks like it cost $4,000.
Don't light the restaurant on fire, honey. That's not good.
My wife and I, we have our son is going to be 3 at the end of September. So we are going through the fun part of him developing his own thoughts and feelings, as Jay has said. And sometimes it's great. And then other times he is a little terror. And I can say for years, I remember being out and going to bars or restaurants, and you would see parents with, back then you wouldn't pop down an iPhone, but you'd have some sort of video or something to keep them entertained. You'd be like, oh, geez, giving your kid a screen or whatever. No, I totally get it now because they weren't doing it for them. They were doing it for the people around them.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. If needed, it doesn't happen all the time. But if we're out at a restaurant and our son is starting to get bored or it's late or whatever, you pop something on the phone and he's all set. And honestly, we can deal with it because we deal with it every day.
Yeah.
But I am concerned for the people next to me that may not have kids, may not want kids, maybe their kids are all grown up and they just want to enjoy their night out. And they don't want my kid on an off night losing his shit because I only had 3 color crayons and you wanted 5.
Where's the fucking green?
I swear I'm going to get shivved one day. It's going to happen. I just bring the wrong color. I certainly have changed over the years of, you do what you can to help the kids. But you're right. Parents do have to take a certain amount of responsibility. And as much, if I want to go out and get drunk, we're not heading out with the kid.
Right.
We're inviting my mom over. My mom's going to watch the kid and we're taking off. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing tomorrow. It's perfect.
I tell you what, we could open your eyes if you came to Southern California, because out here,
I'm sure it's everywhere.
There is no, let's go to the brewery. You're going to have probably the same amount of kids and strollers as you do adults drinking beer.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Everywhere you go.
Because like we were saying earlier, San Diego, I don't know if it still is, but it was kind of like the mecca of craft breweries
still is.
For a while. And you'd go to a brewery and it would be running wild with children and there's no food being served. It's just beer. And you're like, what are they like? How are these children being entertained?
How the fuck are you?
And mom and dad are getting shit faced in the corner.
How are you not allowed in a bar, but this little fucker's allowed to run around here like a fucking ape on meth?
Oh yeah, no, that's
in a brewery.
It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's everywhere around here.
See, we vent.
I get it. You gotta get it out.
That's get some brewery workers on here.
Brewery workers can.
Holy shit!
They'll tell you some story. Anybody in the restaurant industry, like my wife used before she got into radio did waitressing, and she can tell you all sorts of stories about that fucking world. And some people are great, and some people are freaking awful.
When it comes to their food too, like people lose their mind.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I am understanding to a point.
Yeah,
and there's been a few times I've been out and I've received god awful service, and I don't think I did anything wrong. Maybe I did, but I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Yeah,
but man, there's usually we understand, we get it.
Yeah, you can tell. Like if you go into a place and it's super busy and they're shorthanded. I tend to have a lot more patience if they're trying their best. But sometimes, you go into a place, it's not that busy and you just get terrible service because you can tell this person hates their job. And it seems like tips are just customary now. Like tips used to be like a reward for doing a really good job, for going above and beyond. And now it's just like, well, I expect my 15 to 20%. So I don't have to do a good job serving you.
But I also understand the tips thing because as tips have become like a customary thing,
you don't get minimum wage.
Yeah, you're not paid very well for your hourly wage. So there are people who work for less than minimum wage because they get tips. And I get it.
I mean, I feel like it's a give and take.
But if they're pieces of shit.
I still tip well.
We always leave a tip.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it always represents the service that you got. You go above and beyond. We go above and beyond. The average is around the 20%. Depending on where you are, you use 20% as a gauge.
Yeah.
You go above that. If the service is awful and it's it's the waiter or waitress, then that's reflective on that. But I can tell you there's a lot of times where I know it's not the waiter and the waitress and it's the kitchen or there's something else.
Yeah.
I'm not going to punish them for it. They're doing their best. They keep checking on you. They explain what's going on. They're going above and beyond, even if we get less than subpar what we expected. The fact that I know it's not their fault and they still tried, they're still getting a good tip because they tried. And that's what I base everything off of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I come off like a rough tumble,
What? You?
But when we go out to eat, it doesn't matter if our food didn't come fast enough, or our drinks didn't come fast enough, or the waiter or waitress was a little slow. It's 20%. That's it. Because I know that if it was her, okay, or was him, okay, there's nothing I can do. But if it was the kitchen or the bar, they're also taking like 15-20% of the tip. They're getting that percentage of the tip. And I've always been a bitch when it comes to tipping. And I tip at least 20%. At least 20%. And if I go somewhere where I spend $15, I'll also tip $15 on top of that. Just because if I was there for half an hour and they had to wait on me for half an hour, I feel bad giving them $1.50 or $2.25 to make up 20%. Like it's I just can't. I feel like a dick if I do that.
You tip 100%.
Well, I mean, that's you're a gracious guy.
If it's a small bill,
yeah.
If it's a very small bill, and like we go somewhere and we just have, if we went to happy hour and we were just there for one beer, and we each got one beer, I'll definitely tip 100%.
Huh.
Definitely.
Interesting.
Because
I didn't know that about you.
They did the same amount of work they would do in an hour.
Well, if you're sitting there for a long time nursing one beer,
look, if I ordered a beer and it took 45 minutes for it to come,
which would never,
they're not getting 100%.
This actually jogged my memory. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I actually have
no worries.
I have a work-related story now.
Okay.
Look what you did, Jay.
Let's hear it.
So my wife also works in radio, and we originally met through a previous company. And occasionally we would go out on company outings to different locations where food and beverage would be, given to us as
part of the process,
part of the write-off, whatever it may be. Our previous supervisor boss in that company was notorious for leaving awful tips. And this is when you go out with the staff and you've got 8+ people, 10+ people. Like there's a lot of people to keep track of. I'm not saying that we're a pain in the ass, but there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. Notoriously way below 20%, like just awful.
Ugh.
And we would always check as best we could to see what he tipped on the card, on the company card. And then we'd always throw cash in.
Yeah.
Because
he's a piece
he is a piece of shit. And I'm not going to go into it, but if I ever see him, I will throat punch the fucker.
Ooh.
Fucking A. Thank you.
He will, not for that reason, but for other reasons that I will not get into. But that was one of the things that when she was telling me that, because I saw it the first time I saw it, I went, what are you doing? She's like, he's a horrible tipper. Oh, really? And then you look and you go, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Because that waiter or waitress was awesome. There's no way that after 10 or 12 of us leave that they get 11% or whatever stupid amount it was. It was something insulting.
Yeah.
And we made sure to go, okay, we're always going to know that we need to do something because there's no way this person deserves that. This guy's just a horrible asshole.
Yeah.
Don't know why he ever did it.
Well, I mean, you said you wanted to throat punch him for other reasons. I feel like that tipping thing, that's just kind of an indicator as to what kind of human being he is,
It speaks a lot to who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so rude. I don't tip 100% ever, but even if my service is bad, I will at least tip, 15 to 20% because you never know. You never know what's going on in that person's life. Maybe something horrible happened to them that day and they have to go to their job because they got to pay rent, you just never know what's going on in people's lives.
I have tipped 100%, but only if I'm there for half an hour and they bring my beer as soon as I order it and I have a $10 bill after half an hour, I'll give them a $10 tip. It's not a problem for me because it's $20.
Yeah, and you just probably made their night too.
Mm-hmm.
I have also, no, because they got a $10 tip.
But still, like for one beer, they probably made their night.
I'm not talking about when I'm the only person there.
I know.
If we go to
like
a
in
happy
a group,
hour and we're in a group, they still have to deal with all the other pieces of shit
in all of our friends
that we bring in. You know, I know they're going to have to deal with this for another couple hours.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything you want to plug before we go, Zach?
No, you had me ramble in the beginning, so I would just say support your indie podcasters, rate, review, however you listen. Just go and rate and review and recommend, because it's so great to help out one podcaster with one additional listener, and you may help somebody find their next favorite podcast and you don't even know it.
Yeah, and you are so great at that on Twitter. Yes. Supporting all the indie podcasters. We really appreciate it. And I know all the other podcasters appreciate it.
Just doing my part. That's all I'm doing.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes,
this has been a lot of fun.
So much. This has been a lot of fun.
I have had a blast. Thank you. If you want to tolerate me for another episode, go ahead. Yeah. Even before you see the drop in downloads, that's fine. I appreciate the invite.
Now we're gonna get a spike. They're gonna be like, Zach's on
There's
there.
There's no such thing as a drop in downloads. What are we gonna go from like 1,500 to they took their downloads back?
Take them, put them back on the internet. I don't need them.
Is there an undownload button? I want that.
Upload it all. Take this out of my brain. Well, thank you. I am open to return at any point. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, and have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Send us your stories by email at fmwlpod@gmail.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 310-818-3273. That's 310-818-3273.
You can find us on all the major podcast apps. Be sure to follow and subscribe where you can. If you like what you're hearing, leave us that 5-star review. You can do that on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Podchaser.
You can also join us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at FMWL Pod.
You can support our show by just telling your friends, or you can buy us a beer over on buymeacoffee.com/FMWLPOD.
And as always, support your indie podcasts.
Just do it. Bye, everybody.
Do it.
You have been a gentleman and a scholar, Jay. Upstanding.
Thank you. See?
You're welcome. That's what I was supposed to say, right?
Yeah, yes. She's still cutting all that shit
I'm going to
out.
send you the money later.